Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing to all my new subscribers. Thanks to everyone who have been sharing my videos, commenting, liking, and for my subscribers from back then. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So today is story time. I'm not 100%, but I'm gonna try to deliver as best as possible. No, back then when I was actually living in Kingston, I had some friends. I was in high school at the time, and we used to hang out like on a daily basis after school, weekends, and so forth. My mom was pretty much upset because she wanted me to be in my book more than actually hanging out with my friends. They were usually at my house, so I was actually in my own environment where my mom was always there and so forth, even though she warned me thousands of times. But nevertheless, I actually went on and completed my O levels, and I was successful in all eight of them. All right. But anyways, that's another story. So I had a couple friends at the time, but this one I had two sisters. They were closer to me than the others. They usually come to my house every day. Sometimes they actually sleep over and so forth. But the problem was the older one, she was actually 2 years my senior, and the younger one was actually 3 years my senior. It was actually my final year at high school. I was 16 years old, and so the older one was actually 18, and the younger one was actually she was 13 going on 14, right there about. Anyways, I was a good friend to both of them, but what happened? I was actually in the middle of a tug and war. Or that's how they call it, a tug of war or something like that. Anyways, I was in the middle of that, cause guess what? Both females were actually seeing the same gentleman, and I was stuck in the middle. Well, the older one, it was actually the older one, boyfriend. It was known to the mom and everyone around that the dude was actually the older one boyfriend. But what they did not know that the younger one was actually seeing the guy as well. The thing is that the younger one actually confided in me, and I just could not say it to her because, for one, I didn't want it to mess up my relationship with any of them. I was basically telling her that that's something that I did not want to hear. I don't want to be a part of it. When it actually comes to the forefront, I don't want it to seem as if I was actually upholding um, what she was doing, and so I was a bit hesitant whenever she come to me to relay certain information to me. But at the same time, I wanted to be there for her because she was my junior, and I wanted to guide her in the right path. I did condemn the relationship over and over and over, but she insists on having it. So, you know, um, I tried my best to talk her out of it, but she was adamant that's what she wanted, and so I actually leave it to where it was. I eventually confided in my mom as well, and I actually told my mom, and that's when my mom actually started to pull me away from them because my mom was saying that she didn't want me to get caught up in between them. Um, if anything should happen, and so meanwhile, I was actually pulling myself away. They were actually pulling in closer, and so it was, trust me, it was a heavy, heavy load to carry. It was a heavy load to carry. But at the end of the day, I did want both of them to be happy. So one day I said to the little one, are you going to tell your sister? um, what is it that you find interesting in that guy? Because he's actually seeing your sister, so right there and then he's actually a deceiver. And if it was you in her position, would you want someone to tell you, or would you want your little sister to be involved in your partner? And that's when reality struck her. For one, she was actually thinking about it, and then I don't know what happened. Whenever she went to see the guy actually put something different in her head, and she would actually come back telling me that she love him, she this, she that, and all sort of stuff. So you know, because of what was happening, my mom was like, I literally tell my mom everything. So my mom was actually involved in the story. They didn't know that I was actually telling my mom. The big sister didn't know what was going on, because to her, um, she was actually she was a partner. Everybody know that she's actually with him. So whenever she see her little sister around him, she wasn't like she didn't feel threatened or anything like that, because what she was saying, they're actually having that bond, that in-law relationship. So it got to a point where the mother of both girls actually got involved, because I'm not sure if it was my mom who actually told her, but she was reliably informed of what was happening, and so she intervened. She didn't say it to the big daughter; she said it to the little one. And the little one was at the time, she mentioned that she was ashamed, and she was going to stop seeing the dude. And she came to me and she told me that, okay, okay, you're right, I'm going to stop seeing him, and I'm going to talk to someone my age, because the guy at the time, he was 21 years old, so he was actually an adult, and she was underage. She didn't reach 14-year-old as yet. She was actually 13 there, about going on to 14. So that she was pretty young. Anyways, she told us that she was going to stop seeing the guy and so forth, and we actually believed her. So one day I was going downtown, because I live close to, at the time I was living close to downtown Kingston, and it was actually walking distance. So one day she asked me to accompany her downtown, as she was going to get some ground provision, because her mom was going to cook. So I said, okay. It was actually on the weekend. It was a Saturday. So I said, okay. We both, she went home, showered, I showered, put on her clothes, and so we ventured out to get some yam, sweet potato, Irish potato, and so forth. Anyways, at the time, it wasn't this type of Android or the hype camera phone. It was just a little phones that with text on. Yeah. So I realized that she was doing a lot of texting while walking. So I was saying to her, what are you doing, and so forth. And she was actually smiling. She wasn't saying anything to me. So I was like, okay. And when I actually reached where actually reaching the market to get those stuff. She told me that she was actually going to where the clothes market was. It was actually adjacent, so it wasn't a far distance. So I said to her, "Why are you going to the clothes market when you're actually here in the market to get the grown provisions? So where are you going?" And she called the dude name, said the dude was right there next door, and she was going to see him for the last time, and she was actually going to give him his final kiss or something like that. So I was like, I'm not going to be a part of it, I'm not coming with you. And she insisted on me coming and so forth. So I said, okay. This was actually somewhere that, because he was actually selling in the clothes market, he actually had a stall there. So that's where he would conduct his business on a daily basis. Anyways, she actually persuaded me. I went, and but I was actually against it. Trust me. Um, and I was actually standing at a distance. I saw where she went to him. He said hello to me. I said hello, but I actually turned my back to him because I was really, really, really not feeling what was going on with them. And so I was actually standing there looking, 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 and telling her that I am ready. I'm not comfortable. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. And when I turned around, she was actually hugging him up, kissing him. And I was like saying to her, "Girl, remember you're underage. Why are you doing that?" And in the presence of others as well, and so forth. And just as they were about to exchange saliva, there was her big sister. I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I actually panicked. Trust me, the big sister saw everything. They were actually hugging up, kissing, and so forth. And the big sister actually came over to me same time, and it was like she was actually trying to start an argument with me, and I'm like, "Girl, what are you talking about?" And as I said, I was panicked. So I actually froze, and she was there arguing, 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 and then reality struck. I'm like, "Girl, go argue with your sister." And I actually left both of them there. I went back home, and I didn't know what they did out there, but around couple hours after, both of them and their mother came to my house, and my mother came outside because I actually went home and I told my mother what took place, and my mother actually go outside to them. Anyways, they were actually out there talking, 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 and so forth. And the younger one was actually crying, and that's when the older one said someone told her that I was a part of it and I did the setup. And I'm like, what? I don't even I didn't even have a phone at the time. So they were actually lucky to have phone. Both of them had phone. I didn't have phone. So and I didn't have any I wasn't in any communication with the guy unless he was actually passing by with them, or I was actually accompanied the big sister or the little sister somewhere nearby, and they would stop and say hi. That's the only time I actually see that guy and actually say hello to him. So I was a bit stunned. So knowing my mom actually put them in their place, and they left. The following day, they came back and they apologized, and the little sister was actually telling her that I knew what was going on, and I actually was telling her to stop, but she insisted on continuing the relationship. Well, she did confess that the guy was actually in a sexual relationship with her, And you know that actually the big sister was actually upset about it because the big sister was actually sexually active with him as well. Um, so they both decided to call it quits with the guy. The big sister actually left, and she was so ashamed she didn't stay with her mom. She went back to St. Catherine. Um, but the little sister, I heard she didn't confide in me anymore, but I heard that she was actually still seeing the guy. She was actually seeing him for at least 2 years after that actually happened, you know. And I believe that's the reason why the big sister was pretty much upset as well, because they were actually still having the relationship, even though they spoke about it as a family and said that they wanted peace to reign, and they forgave each other. But the little sister continued the relationship same way. Um, I I didn't have any contact for the big sister because when I did actually get access to cell phone, I didn't have any telephone number for her, and I didn't bother to ask. Whenever she came to Kingston, she would stop by though and say hello and so forth. Until we grew apart, I came to the western part of the island to live, and they continued their living in Kingston and St. Catherine. That's my story for today, guys. It's not something that I would say I hope you guys enjoy, because I don't wish this upon anyone, but that's just the reality of what is happening in our society. So, young girls, please be mindful of others, and if your family is actually in a relationship with someone, there is no way you should actually have any form of interest to go that direction. There are plenty fishes out there in the sea. Find yours and stay there. All right. So, guys, thank you very much for listening. I do hope that you will like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, see you guys tomorrow for another story time.